Ethan, be honest with me. Does this dress make me look like an exploding pink pufferfish? My wife, Mia, was standing in front of the full-length mirror, tugging at the waistline of a new dress, her face scrunched up in a miserable little knot. The dress was actually nice, but it was definitely a little snug on her, especially around her waist and hips, where it clung for dear life, outlining every single curve. I put down my phone, pushed myself off the couch, and shuffled over in my slippers to wrap my arms around her from behind. She felt so good. Soft. A pufferfish? Since when are pufferfish this cute? I rested my chin on her shoulder, grinning at her reflection. At worst, you're like one of those fancy gourmet donuts, all soft and sweet and absolutely delicious. Mia whipped her head around, nearly clocking me in the nose. Ethan, I'm being serious. She glared, her cheeks puffed out, which only made her look cuter. Have I gained more weight? I knew the number on the scale, looked off. This is all your fault. Dragging me out for late-night takeout all the time. Barbecue, pizza, tacos. You're the master of sabotaging diets, aren't you? I swear I was being framed. Honey, you've got to be kidding me. You're the one who's always saying, ooh, babe, that looks good. And can we try that place too? I'm just the guy who pays and peels the shrimp. I protested, but my hands didn't loosen their grip on her soft waist. Besides, what's wrong with a little extra? I love you like this. Cuddling with you is like hugging my own personal furnace. My sleep quality has gone through the roof. A freight train could derail outside, and I wouldn't wake up. Mia has one of those petite frames where she carries a little extra softness, a bit of roundness to her face, a body that was just cushiony, perfect. She was a hand warmer in the winter and in the summer. Well, yeah, it was a little hot in the summer, but that's what air conditioning is for. Not a big deal. Honestly, I thought she was perfect just the way she was. Healthy, full of life. It made me happy just looking at her. Not like those women who looked like a strong gust of wind could blow them away. You felt like you had to whisper around them or they might shatter. Mia clearly didn't buy my reassurances. Or maybe she did, but she couldn't compete with the impossible beauty standards plastered all over Instagram. She wriggled out of my arms and stepped onto the digital scale with the grim determination of a soldier marching into battle. She glanced down and let out a blood-curdling scream. Arg, I'm up 3 pounds. 3 whole pounds. You did this to me. She leaped off the scale and started pummeling my chest. It felt like being attacked by a kitten. I just pulled her into a hug, laughing. What's 3 pounds? Spread that over your whole body, and it's practically nothing per square inch. Round it down, and it's 0. Don't psych yourself out. Get off me. Starting today, I'm on a diet. No more midnight snacks. No more sugary coffees. No more carbs, she announced, still struggling weakly in my arms. I raised an eyebrow. Does that include the chocolate lava cake I bought last night, the one you hid in the back of the snack cabinet? Mia's body went rigid. No, she said after a 3-second pause, her voice firm. That's a strategic reserve. You have to ease into a diet. I held her, swaying gently. Why are you even dieting? You don't need to. You're healthy. Your last physical was better than mine. I love you just like this, really. You feel good to hold. You look great. You're perfect. Mia tilted her head back, her eyes blinking. Really? You're not just saying that to make me feel better. Cross my heart, I said, and leaned down to kiss her forehead. Come on, I'll take you out for a good meal. Let's turn that sorrow into sustenance. Ethan, I just said I was going on a diet. You have to eat to have the energy to diet. It's an old saying. Which old saying? I've never heard that one. It's from a wise old sage named Ethan. His word is gospel. Ugh, you're ridiculous. But she was smiling. She gave me a light shove before heading off to change her clothes. Watching her go, my heart felt full. Marrying a ray of sunshine makes every day better. As for her weight, who gives a damn? Even if my wife were as round as a basketball, she'd be the cutest basketball in the world. Officially certified by Ethan Davis. Later that night, I instinctively pulled her into my arms in bed. Her back was to me, curled into a ball. She mumbled, "Don't hold me so tight tonight, it's hot." I made some agreeable noises, but didn't loosen my grip one bit. Holding her, all warm and soft, and smelling like her shampoo. I wouldn't trade this for a king's ransom. Within minutes, she was fast asleep, her breathing deep and even. Listening to her, a profound sense of peace settled over me. This was the life I wanted. A wife, a warm bed. Kids would come later. For now, I was happy to enjoy just the two of us. Just as I was drifting off, I heard the woman in my arms smack her lips and whisper in her sleep, "Ethan, the cake, save me a piece." I smiled with my eyes closed and held her just a little tighter. "It's all yours, you goof." Mia's grand diet plan lasted for approximately 2.5 days. Day 1, she gnawed on cucumbers and boiled chicken breast all day, and her face was about the same color as the cucumber. That night, she lay in bed, clutching her stomach, whining that all the color had drained from her life. I didn't say a word. I just quietly ordered her favorite Nashville hot chicken through DoorDash. Extra spicy, with a side of mac and cheese and loaded fries. When the food arrived, the smell was intoxicating. Mia tried to bolt upright in bed, which ended up being more of a slow, determined wriggle. She followed the bag with her eyes, sniffing the air like a bloodhound. Her eyes were practically glowing green. "Ethan, you did this on purpose," she accused me, her voice weak but her gaze locked on the food. I put on my most innocent face, opening the containers to let the aroma fill the room. "What? No, I was hungry." "You eat your chicken breast. Why are you looking at me?" "Oh man, this mac and cheese looks incredible." 10 minutes later, she was sitting cross-legged on the rug, forehead beaded with sweat, lips red and swollen, slurping down noodles between gasps. "Just this once. I'll start again tomorrow. Hey, leave me some of those fries." The next day, she tried replacing meals with fruit. When I got home that afternoon, I found her sprawled on the couch, the picture of despair, with a pile of banana peels and apple cores in the trash can next to her. "Honey," she looked at me with pitiful eyes. "I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. A pot-roasted horse." I stifled a laugh and pulled her to her feet. "Come on, let's go get you some protein. We'll get some steaks." On the morning of the 3rd day, she stood on the scale and let out a shriek even more tragic than the first. "Ethan, it's your fault. The number hasn't moved at all." I was brushing my teeth and peeked my head out of the bathroom, my mouth full of foam. "That just means you have a healthy metabolism. It's a blessing." She charged at me, hands outstretched for my neck. I rinsed my mouth and easily intercepted her, pulling her into a hug. All right, stop fighting with the scale. Haven't I seen you at every size? A few pounds up, a few pounds down, you're still Mia. You're still my wife. It breaks my heart to see you torturing yourself like this." She quieted down in my arms, mumbling, "But Chloe's wedding is coming up. I wanted to wear that new dress I bought." Chloe was Mia's college classmate, a classic perfect girl. Pretty, tall, had even done some modeling. Most importantly, she had a bit of a mean streak and used to love making subtle and not-so-subtle digs about Mia's baby fat. Mia was good-natured, but she wasn't oblivious. Every time she saw Chloe, she'd be in a funk for a little while after. Suddenly, I understood why she was so determined to lose weight this time. "What's wrong with the dress?" "I bet you look gorgeous in it," I said, rubbing her back. "The zippers. A little tight," she whispered. "That's it. Is that all?" I waved my hand dismissively. "Come on, we're clearing our schedule today. I'm taking you shopping. We'll buy a new one. We'll buy 10 new ones. We'll find the most elegant, most comfortable dress in the whole mall. And we'll throw that stupid zipper in the trash." Mia's eyes lit up. "Really? Absolutely. My treat." I puffed out my chest like a big shot. She burst out laughing and gave me a playful punch. "You're such a dork." And so, we spent the entire Saturday at the mall. I embraced my roles as human coat rack and professional hype man. Every time Mia came out of the dressing room, I gave her my honest, expert opinion. "That one looks amazing. It makes your skin glow. Whoa, honey, that dress was made for you. That color is perfect on you. You look like you're 18 again. Buy it. We have to get it. Ma'am, we'll take this one." The sales associate was grinning from ear to ear, looking at me like I was Santa Claus in July. Mia was dizzy from all the praise. I complimented everything she tried on, and I insisted we buy everything she tried on. Finally, she caught on, pulling me aside to whisper, "Ethan, that's enough. We bought too many, and the sleeves on that last one were definitely too tight." "Tight? I didn't notice," I said deadpan. "I thought it was a fashion statement. You know, retro puff sleeves? Very chic." She rolled her eyes at me, but the corners of her mouth were turned up in a smile. We left the mall loaded down with shopping bags. She looped her arm through mine, her mood having clearly gone from partly cloudy to sunny and clear. "You're the best, honey," she said, rubbing her head against my shoulder. "I know. Look who you married," I said smugly. Spending money on her, seeing her happy, it made me feel like cracking open a cold beer on the hottest day of the year. Utterly fantastic. As for that dress with the tight zipper, I saw it in our building's clothing donation bin the next day. She hadn't hesitated at all. Chloe's wedding was held in the ballroom of a fancy hotel. Sure enough, the moment we walked in, you could feel the unspoken competition in the air. Perfume and silk, designer dresses, and perfect hair. Several of the women looked like they had starved for a week to squeeze into their gowns, their smiles fixed but their breathing shallow. Mia instinctively squeezed my hand. I squeezed back, whispering, "Relax. You're the most beautiful woman here. You're putting them all to shame." She was wearing one of her new dresses, a champagne-colored floor-length gown. It was elegant, draping over her curves perfectly without being restrictive. It just looked comfortable. With her makeup done and her face glowing, she looked incredible. I was standing beside her, looking sharp in a matching suit. And I had to admit, we made a damn good-looking couple. Chloe and her new husband were greeting guests at the door. When she saw us, her eyes lit up, or rather, they lit up when they landed on what she considered a target. "Mia, it's been so long." Chloe swept in for an enthusiastic hug, then stepped back to look her up and down, her tone exaggerated. "Wow, married life must be treating you well. You're absolutely glowing." It was phrased as a compliment, but her eyes and her tone clearly meant, "You've gained weight." Mia's smile faltered for a second, my brow furrowed, and I was about to say something, but Mia gave my hand a little pinch and answered herself, her smile back in place. "It has. Ethan's so worried I'll go hungry. He's always cooking for me. It's impossible to stay thin. Not like you. You poor thing, you look exhausted. Getting ready for a wedding is brutal. You need to make sure you get some rest." Flawless victory. I mentally applauded my wife. That comeback was gentle but sharp. It highlighted my devotion to her and subtly pointed out that Chloe might look tired from extreme dieting for the wedding. Chloe's smile looked a little strained. She laughed it off and quickly ushered us inside. After we found our table, I leaned over to Mia's ear. "Nice one, Mrs. Davis. Your verbal judo has improved." Mia lifted her chin a little proud. "Well, I learned from the best." The ceremony was emotional. When they exchanged rings, Mia's eyes got a little misty. I handed her a tissue and took the opportunity to squeeze her shoulder. Dinner was served, course after course. A few of the women at our table barely touched their food, just sipping red wine and whispering about which brand of meal replacement shake worked best and which gym had the cutest trainers. Mia was a little self-conscious at first, taking tiny, delicate bites. I couldn't stand it. I launched Operation Feed My Wife. "Mia, try the lobster, it's really good. This braised short rib is falling off the bone. It's so tender. You'll love it. Hey, this dessert is great, not too sweet. You eat half, I'll finish it." I kept putting food on her plate while eating heartily myself, demonstrating with my actions that we were going to get our money's worth out of this meal. Under my influence, Mia gradually relaxed, mainly because the food was genuinely delicious. We ate as if we were the only two people in the room, thoroughly enjoying ourselves. The deuce-sipping ladies next to us kept giving us complicated looks, a mixture of envy and disdain. I couldn't have cared less. Eating your fill is the highest form of respect you can pay to the hosts. The bride and groom came around to toast each table. When they got to ours, Chloe's eyes flickered from the small pile of delicious remnants on Mia's plate to the clean-picked bones on mine. Her smile was a little forced. "Mia, your appetite is as healthy as ever." I raised my glass, beating her to the punch with a sincere grin. "You bet. My wife is strong and healthy, and she enjoys her food. Nothing makes me happier. Here's to you too. May you have a long and happy marriage, and may you be just like Mia and me, eating well together every day and enjoying every moment." Chloe and her new husband just stared. Mia was pinching my leg hard under the table, but her smile was sweeter than anyone's. After they moved on to the next table, Mia leaned in and hissed through her teeth, "Ethan, you did that on purpose, didn't you?" I looked at her, completely unruffled. Did I say something wrong? I thought my toast was very sincere. What was I supposed to wish them? A lifetime of dieting and looking miserable. Mia couldn't hold it in. A laugh escaped, and she quickly tried to stifle it, glaring at me. You and your twisted logic. When the reception was over, we were waiting for the valet to bring our car. The night air was a bit chilly, so I took off my suit jacket and draped it over Mia's shoulders. She snuggled into it and said suddenly, "You know, honey, being a little soft is actually pretty great. At least I stay warm, and I have enough strength to fight for you." I chuckled. "Fight who?" "Anyone who says my husband's wife is chubby," she said, making a little fist. It wasn't very threatening, but it was adorable. I burst out laughing and pulled her in. "You don't have to lift a finger. My mouth is the only weapon we need. Besides, who would dare? My wife has what's called healthy beauty. Sexy and cute. If they don't get it, that's their loss." Mia leaned against me, giggling. The moonlight caught on her trembling eyelashes, tipping them in silver. My heart melted into a puddle. This wife of mine, best decision I ever made. The wedding drama faded, and Mia seemed to have made a permanent peace treaty with her body. In her words, "My husband's opinion is the only one that matters. Everyone else can just mind their own business." The snack cabinet was restored to its former glory, and our late-night takeout culture flourished once again. Naturally, I was all for it. Seeing her eat with such pure, blissful enjoyment, her eyes crinkling at the corners, made me happier than eating it myself. One Saturday, we were curled up on the couch watching an old movie, the coffee table laden with fried chicken, loaded fries, and soda. Mia was nestled against me, happily chewing on a chicken wing, her mouth glistening. The movie reached a dramatic climax, with the hero and heroine facing a tragic separation. Mia sniffled, getting emotional. I grab a napkin to wipe her mouth and offer my own commentary. "This hero is a wimp. Looks like he can barely lift the heroine. Now if it were me," I shifted Mia's weight in my arms. "Lifting you, I could run up 5 flights of stairs and not even break a sweat." Mia's emotional moment flew right out the window. She brandished a chicken bone at me, threateningly. "Ethan, are you calling me heavy?" "Whoa, whoa. Innocent." I dodged, laughing. "It's a compliment. It means you're, substantial. And you're even more substantial in my heart. You're my rock, you know? My anchor. You make me feel secure. Ugh, you and your silver tongue." She tossed the bone in the trash and picked up a French fry. "But, seriously, why don't you really, truly care that I'm not skinny? Don't most guys prefer slim women?" She asked it casually, but there was a flicker of genuine curiosity in her eyes. I put down my soda and got serious too, pulling her closer. "Are you kidding me? I love you. You love me. I don't love a number on a scale or a clothing size. Think about it. You being soft is the best. In the winter, you're my personal heater. In the summer, okay, it's a little warm, but you're so comfortable to hold. When I'm in a bad mood, I can squeeze your cheeks and all my troubles just melt away. When I'm hungry, I watch you eat with so much enjoyment that it makes my own food taste better. And," I paused, leaning close to her ear and lowering my voice, "certain parts of you are extra soft, and that's a special bonus just for me. No one else gets that." Mia's face flushed bright red. She swatted at me. "You're such a pervert." But her eyes were sparkling, and her lips were curved in a smile. She was clearly pleased. I grinned, pressing my advantage. "So you see, stop thinking about dieting. Health is number 1, and happiness is number 2. As long as you're happy and healthy, my life is easy. We'll just keep eating well, sleeping well, and taking care of ourselves so we could be running around together when we're old and gray, right?" Mia didn't say anything. She just snuggled deeper into my arms, resting her head on my chest and letting out a soft, Neither of us was paying attention to the movie anymore. The air was filled with the scent of fried chicken and the faint, clean smell of her shampoo. This, I thought, is what happiness is. Having someone you can shamelessly pig out with, who you can tease and hold and talk nonsense to. After a while, she suddenly looked up, her eyes wide. "Honey, I am hungry." I blinked. I looked down at the carnage on the coffee table. "But we just ate. I'm hungry again. I want you to make your famous late-night tomato pasta. With 2 fried eggs on top," she pleaded, shaking my arm. "Who could possibly resist that?" "All right, Chef Ethan is on the job," I said, resigning myself to my fate as I stood up and headed for the kitchen. "Just wait 10 minutes tops." She did a little happy roll on the couch. You're the best husband ever. Watching her celebratory dance, I tied on an apron, shaking my head and smiling. Taking care of my wife was like raising a daughter. A lot of work, but I loved every minute of it. The tomato pasta, topped with 2 golden, perfectly fried eggs, was steaming on the table. Mia slurped it down with gusto. I sat across from her, just watching, feeling more satisfied than if I'd eaten it myself. Slow down, no one's going to steal it. MMPH, so good, she mumbled, her mouth full. Honey, you make the best pasta. I just smiled. As long as she was happy, that was all that mattered. Life went on, sweet and comforting like a warm hug. I thought the little episode about her weight was completely behind us. Until one day, I came home from work early. I opened the door to a quiet apartment. Mia? I called out. No answer. Strange. She should have been home by now. I tossed my keys on the console table, kicked off my shoes, and walked inside. As I passed the study, I heard a sound from within. A chokeback sob? My stomach dropped. I pushed the door open immediately. There was Mia, sitting in front of the computer, her eyes as red as a rabbit's, fresh tear tracks on her cheeks. The screen showed some kind of online forum. She jumped when she saw me, fumbling to close the browser window. What's wrong? I rushed over, my heart pounding. Who bullied you? Did something happen? My first thought was that there was a family emergency, or she had a major problem at work. And nothing. She avoided my gaze, trying to wipe away her tears, which only made more fall. I cupped her face in my hands, forcing her to look at me. Mia, look at me. Tell me what's wrong. Even if the sky is falling, I'm here to hold it up for you. She sniffled, her voice thick with tears as she pointed at the screen. I was just bored browsing online, and I saw this post. I finally looked at the screen. It was a post on an anonymous gossip forum. The headline was sensational. Let's talk about my best friend who has let herself go, but is still blissfully unaware. The original poster described her best friend in excruciatingly cruel detail. How fat she was, how she never dressed up, how her husband was secretly disgusted with her, and she had no idea. The entire post reeked of smug superiority and malice. The comments were a mixed bag of people agreeing, people attacking the poster, and people sharing their own similar, sad stories. I scanned a few lines, my brow furrowed in anger. What was this garbage? Why are you reading this crap? The internet is full of trolls who are miserable in their own lives and just want to tear other people down. You can't believe a word of it, I said, so angry I wanted to smash the monitor. This has nothing to do with you. You're just torturing yourself. Mia's tears started flowing again. But so many people in the comments were saying that men always say they don't mind, but deep down they're disgusted. That being fat is a cardinal sin, that you'll get cheated on, that you'll get divorced. They said. She couldn't go on, dissolving into sobs. I finally understood. My silly, wonderful wife. She was applying all of it to herself. She was taking the irresponsible poison of anonymous internet strangers to heart. I was furious and heartbroken all at once. Furious at the garbage people hiding behind their screens, and even more furious with myself for not giving her enough security to be immune to it. I closed the damned webpage, lifted her out of the chair, and carried her to the living room couch, sitting down with her on my lap. She buried her face in my chest, her body shaking with sobs. I stroked her back gently, like I was comforting a child. You silly goose, I murmured. You can't treat every idiot's opinion like it's the gospel truth. Do you not know what kind of man I am? Do the things I tell you every single day mean less than the ramblings of some strangers online? She shook her head against my chest, her voice muffled. No, I'm just scared. Scared of what? I tilted her face up, forcing her to meet my eyes. Look at me, Mia, and listen. I'm only going to say this once, so you better burn it into your brain. My expression was more serious than it had ever been. 1. I, Ethan Davis, love you because you are Mia, because you are kind, and you are funny, and when you smile your eyes crinkle up like crescent moons. Because of the pure joy and comfort I feel when I'm with you. It has absolutely nothing to do with how much you weigh. 2. Disgusted? What would I be disgusted by? That you keep me warm at night? That you enjoy your food so much you make me want to eat more? That holding you is the most comfortable thing in the world and helps me sleep? Do you think I'm an idiot? 3. Cheating? Divorce? Because you're not a size 2? What kind of man do you think I am? Do you think my love for you is that shallow? That fragile? You're insulting me, and you're insulting yourself. I said it all in one breath, staring at her. Mia was so stunned by my outburst that she forgot to cry. She just looked at me, her nose and eyes red, looking utterly pathetic and completely adorable. The anger drained out of me, replaced by an overwhelming wave of tenderness. I sighed, my voice softening as I used my thumb to wipe a tear from her cheek. You nut. I can't control what other people say, but you have to believe me. Believe your husband, the one who is right here, who holds you every night and tells you he loves you. Not some anonymous trash on the internet. Understand? Mia blinked, long lashes still wet with tears. She looked at me for a long moment, then suddenly threw her arms around my neck, burying her face in the crook of my neck. I'm sorry, honey, she whispered. I shouldn't have gotten in my own head. I just got stuck in a rabbit hole. I hugged her back, relieved. I had her back. From now on, you are forbidden from reading that garbage. You hear me? If I catch you again, you'll be punished. I threatened, even though my version of punishment was just tickling her. She nodded against my neck, her hair tickling my skin. So, what's the punishment? She dared to ask. I narrowed my eyes. You want to find out? She immediately backed down, shaking her head vigorously. Nope. We held each other in silence for a while. And then she said quietly, you're kind of hot when you're mad. I had to laugh. But you're saying I should get mad at you more often? No. She looked up at me, glaring. Just the hot part, not the mad part. All right. No more getting mad. I smiled and kissed her forehead. Are you hungry? How about I make you something to eat? Some sweet and sour pork ribs to calm your nerves. At the mention of food, her eyes lit up, and she nodded enthusiastically. Yes, there she was, tears not even dry, and already thinking about her stomach. Watching her mood shift from stormy to sunny in an instant, my heart felt like it was melting. My wife, so easy to please, and so easy to feed. After that internet incident, Mia seemed to have finally, truly made peace with herself. In her words, my husband's taste is the gold standard. Anyone else's opinion is not worth my energy. She became more unapologetic in her enjoyment of life. She ate snacks, ordered late-night takeout, and successfully managed to make me gain 5 pounds right along with her. She was very pleased with this development. This is better. Now neither of us can judge the other. If we're going to be chubby, we'll be chubby together. That's what being a team is all about. I pinched the new, small roll of softness around my own waist and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fine. Happy wife, happy life. As long as we were healthy, it didn't matter. Our life fell back into its comfortable rhythm. Work, come home, cook together, or go out exploring new restaurants. Weekends spent watching shows, playing video games, or taking short road trips. It was simple, but every moment was bubbling with happiness. A year later, we got the best news of our lives. Mia was pregnant. The moment she told me, I almost swung her around in circles before remembering the tiny passenger on board. I set her down gently and just held her, laughing like an idiot for what felt like an eternity. Mia was thrilled too, but her joy was soon followed by morning sickness and all the other discomforts of pregnancy. It broke my heart to see her so sick, her face pale, with no appetite for anything. I cooked up a storm for her, sour, spicy, bland, whatever she craved, no matter the time of day, I would make it or go by it. In her second trimester, she finally started feeling better, and her appetite came roaring back. And so, our household entered phase 2.0 of a constant, happy feeding frenzy. I proudly took on the role of chief nutritionist and provider. A steady supply of nourishing soups, fresh fruit, and pregnancy-safe snacks flowed into our home. Mia grew rounder at a visible pace. But this time, she wasn't anxious at all. She would rub her growing belly with a look of pure bliss and pride. This is my baby's home base, she'd declare. It needs to be strong and well-stocked. I couldn't agree more. That's right. Our son or daughter is going to be a strong little kid. At every checkup, the doctor said the baby was developing perfectly and all of Mia's own vitals were great. We both felt an immense sense of accomplishment, as if we had eaten our way to this success together. By the third trimester, Mia's belly was huge, and it was getting harder for her to move around. At night, she could only sleep on her side. just like I always had. I'd hold her from behind, my hand resting gently on her round stomach. Sometimes I could feel our little one kicking and punching inside, a tiny, powerful force. Hey, this kid's practicing martial arts again. I'd marvel, feeling the movement under my palm. Mia would smile and lean back against me. Takes after you. Full of energy. Of course. That's my boy. I'd say proudly. What if it's a girl? A girl will be great. She'll be soft and cute, just like you. I'd reply without a second's hesitation. Mia would huff, but her tone was sweet. All you think about is soft and cute. After 10 months, the big day arrived. I was with her the whole time, holding her hand, wiping sweat from her brow, cheering her on. When she was utterly exhausted, and we finally heard that loud, piercing cry of a newborn, tears sprang to my eyes. It was a girl, 6 pounds, 8 ounces, a tiny red wrinkled bundle who was, in my eyes, the most beautiful baby in the world. The nurse placed our cleaned-up daughter on Mia's chest. Mia was drained, but as she looked at the tiny person in her arms, her face was radiant with a gentle, incredible love. I leaned down and kissed her forehead, then kissed our baby's tiny foot. "You did it, honey. You're amazing," I said, my voice choked with emotion. Mia gave me a weak smile, her eyes shining. "Honey, look, I think she's actually a little chubby." I let out a laugh. "Of course she is. She's our daughter. Is it any surprise she's a little soft? You can already tell she's going to have a happy life." We came home from the hospital and began the chaotic, wonderful, sleep-deprived life of new parents. Mia's body was slower to bounce back than she expected, but she wasn't worried anymore. She spent her days happily orbiting the baby, feeding, changing, and rocking her sleep. I joined the ranks of new dads, clumsy and mistake-prone, but loving every second of it. One evening, after we finally got the little one to sleep, we collapsed on the couch like 2 beached whales. Mia leaned against me and sighed. "Honey, am I even softer than before? This dress feels a little tight again." I wrapped my arm around her and yawned. "Then don't wear it. We'll buy new ones tomorrow. You're perfect right now, even more comfortable to hold. Our daughter can sleep between us, and I'll have my big baby and my little baby on either side. It's warm, it's safe." Mia looked up at me, her eyes shining in the dim light. "Really? You still think I'm comfortable to cuddle with?" "Of course," I answered, my voice firm. "More comfortable than ever. This is the upgraded, deluxe, plus-sized edition. A global limited release, one of a kind, exclusively for Ethan Davis." She smiled, snuggling back into my arms, completely content. After a moment, she whispered, "Thank you, honey." "For what?" "For loving me, chubby and all." I chuckled, leaning down to kiss the top of her head. "Silly. I don't love you because you're chubby. I love you, and you just happen to be chubby. It wouldn't matter what you looked like. As long as it was you, you'd always be my warm, soft, perfect armful." The woman in my arms went quiet. I looked down and saw that she had already fallen asleep against my chest, breathing evenly. A sweet smile was still on her lips. The moonlight streamed through the window, blanketing our little family in its gentle glow. I looked at our daughter, sleeping soundly in her bassinet, then at my wife, sleeping peacefully in my arms. My heart was so full of a feeling called happiness that there wasn't a single empty space left. This was everything I had ever wanted. All of it. End.